Do I have my next speaker in the house? Do we have Mr. Goutam Datta with us? Mr. Goutam Datta, are you here? Okay, Gautam is here. The next time I'm going to give you a very difficult one. So, Gautam, with your permission, can I start off with the next session? Yep. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, please get your hands together as we welcome on stage the Chief Information and Digital Officer, Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company Limited, Mr. Datta.
Can you put up the slides, please? Here it is. Well, good evening. And you all are in black suit mostly. I'm in green t-shirt. Don't blame it to my style quotient, because I was told I have to come in green.
Yeah, but that was for the evening.
This is evening. Beside that, the topic that I chose was taken by somebody else, and I have taken somebody else's topic. So I'll try to do justice. I'm working with Bajaj Allianz Life. As you understand, any insurance company gives a disclaimer first. So let me give my disclaimer first. You all are much more knowledgeable than me. So in case I step outside of my boundary, please do raise hand and stop me. I would be trying to talk about AI in customer service. The subject is not new. In fact, subject is, I think, practiced by each one of us for last 1 decade, if not more. But there are certain areas that still amuses us, and we try to touch upon them. And if time permits, probably we'll talk about what's in it for us in BALIC. We call our company as BALIC, Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company. So we'll try to take that also. Let's go to the next. Very quickly, 3 areas, if we could do justice. I borrowed this from Capgemini research paper, and of course, many of our GAN repository, Gartner. If you look into, very interestingly, the top 3, the one at all of our left and 2 at all of our right, from overall enterprise point of view, it looks very clearly that greater control over the interaction with customer is where AI is normally implemented. For a customer-facing enterprise, I'm talking about. The second one that I see very interesting is 24/7 availability. The third one is faster resolution and support issues. And that is where it's a common denominator across almost all of us, chatbots and humanoids. Right? Center for all of our AI implementation has been broadly the customer, which is a good point. However, there are very awkward, very different views that might come up as I go next. One point, though, we need to check is last 3 to 4 years, this practice has gathered momentum at least 3 times, 270%, a bit dated. If I take the recent report, it is around a little more than 300%. Very rarely, technology which is not very well known to many of our team members in terms of building a model grows this fast. So it looks like it is on faster trend. Taking a little more deeper view from the same research paper, however contributed by another thought leaders, and I think this resonates with India market, particularly the market that I operate. It very clearly says, when you're talking about a complicated, high value, high emotion purchase, we as a customer, if we wear the customer hat, we would still prefer a little more to have human interaction. than have only AI-driven automated interaction, whatever experience that we talk about. We are talking about a top-notch experience, which many of us still not providing. Even at that level, it says that when it's high value, commercially high value, so if you are buying a car, or I don't think many of us is in that category, but if you are buying a diamond ring for your fiancé, and there is a AI-driven assistance available, you'd still say, I want to see it. I want to talk to the person. So even after having a best class AI experience, we would prefer human interactions. It's true for India market too. However, if you take it to little later or lesser denomination and where the value is not that high, the view kind of balances, tilts little more towards AI. Little more towards AI. It includes monetary transactions also, not only servicing. And if you talk about only servicing, of course, AI is where we all have been implementing our solutions. Now, if you cut this data on a recent research based on gender and age, another very fascinating views would come up. I have not included that in my slide, but let me just put it up for a couple of minutes to you, all of you. As the age grows, even if it is touching 5, 10 more years of mine, I would probably start preferring a human interaction even for a simple service call, because that probably comes with an assurance that a human being only provides that my subconscious can process. And automation, when it provides that assurance, is not getting processed. That's what the research says. It's just that subconscious that processes. Actually, the service gets delivered by human, by automated machine. But still, an aged person comes with a view that if I have interacted with a human on that branch, on that shop, on that floor, most probably the job would be done. It's a very peculiar nature. If that is the behavioral tendency, then we have to probably also see how do we scale our solutions and how do we shape our solutions. It's not only technology, this part is extremely important. At the same time, for the same solution, if the age group is around 25 to 35, the graph completely reverse. A human being interacting is more of a boring, but the same transaction, if it is done by an automated one, even with little lesser experience, little lesser politeness, accepted more higher way. Now, this is, to my mind, when you look into, we are talking about artificial intelligence. The focus is on intelligence, and human intelligence is supposed to be the best. If this is the outcome of a human intelligence, it's little awkward, little, the number doesn't match. But that's what the fact is. And that's what we have to be little more cognizant about when we are defining our solutions. Let me go into a little more deeper onto it. When we talk about AI solutions, particularly on services, the most focused parameter for most of the enterprise is to conduct the transaction end-to-end smoothly. Sounds like a perfect sentence for many of us. However, if I am working from a delivery side, this sounds like a perfect sentence. The moment you ship the side and you become the consumer of the same service, it is not end-to-end smooth. It is the experience that matters. It is not the time that you have spent. It is the experience that matters. So another terms that becomes extremely critical in AI world is Q of E, QoE. We were all in the zone of QoS, where quality of service. A new term that is emerging, many of us must have studied, is QoE, which is quality of experience. And that defines how much AI would be appreciated, adopted across various class of your customers. Extremely fascinating when you go deep into understanding how humans neural network actually adopting this. Let me take you to the next one. And this gives us another interesting bit. And this is our lens. This works? Okay. And when you talk about organization's view for AI, hand on heart, how many of us are doing AI to improve, enhance customer experience? Versus how many of us are adopting AI for the top 3? So when we talked about in last slide, quality of experience versus the real reason for an enterprise to pick up an AI, it looks like it is still ROI heavy. Cost of implementation, return of investment is extremely, extremely high, even in our decision making today. That is one area which probably holds some of our AI experience little less than what it could be. My view, obviously we can chat about in case you have a different view. The third one is extremely important for Indian context. India has got tremendous amount of data, but we still don't have a Shuffle kind of solution. That's a beauty product brand, which kind of offers you beauty product or solution based on your skin tone, based on your age, based on your certain other attributes of your face. Many of our female friends may be knowing. Now that is possible only when you have accurate data reposited for decade and then built a solution. We do have data. I do have data about my customer. The most often we get questions about the clarity and purity of the data. So data is becoming another big hurdle. However, nowhere it is still to improve experience. And that's where I'm trying to focus, that when we talk about service through AI, that has to pick up our imagination, organization's imagination to do a very good job there. Let me move on. I am always pressing the wrong button. Little bit of GAN, which I do not want to go through the whole slide because I am sure all of you know. I am talking about the last line, which is famously picked up from, talked of by BCG, and I have picked it up from their latest note, is when you talk about AI, it should not be the small little solution on which we are implementing. That's their view. I personally agree to it. Hence, I am trying to talk about it. But start small, because starting small would give you all the required nudges to enhance the experience. Once you have reached the quality of experience, QoE, then grow fast. And that's how normally an AI-based solution does history, creates history. And that's what I would also suggest here. And rest other 4 parts I think is readable, so I'm just skipping it. One quick example, though I will not talk about this example because I probably do not understand it the way many of our friends from network providers would understand. Very briefly, as of now, most of our network providers' rule engine does the trick in terms of who gives what kind of quality of service. Now think about a situation, little older situation, but think about a situation that I have got 2 Mbps of link, but I am trying to watch a high quality movie, which means either I would be dissatisfied with my link provider or the network provider, or I will be dissatisfied with my content provider. Now with 5G, this one area would change significantly. Does it mean the rule engine of network provider would change? Actually, no. Actually, there is where AI would start coming in terms of understanding the context of this demand. in terms of understanding what exactly the requirement, is it the frame per second requirement, is it the bandwidth requirement, is it the latency is the need to be addressed, or is it the content which need to be altered. And based on that, for that small segment of time, can we improve? And this all has to happen in fraction of seconds, so that the end customer's experience is about. But let that go. We can talk about one use case that Toyota in Japan worked on with their marketing provider, I think it's Sachet and Sachets. They were to send an emailer to 1,000 prospective buyer who has shown interest. We all would have done it day in, day out. Believe me, everyone who has a B2C business would have done it day in, day out for crores of our customers. What we do, we take the customer details, we print a very nicely worded letter, and we kind of dispatch it. They implemented an AI to understand exactly customers' mood, customers' preferences, customers' source of financing, customers' choice, even to the last hour, what was customers' action on internet through any of the online devices or sensors, and then modify that text just before sending it. And think about the success rate versus our static campaign success rate. So those are the areas where this should be used very significantly. Quickly, at BALIC, at Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance, like all of us would have been doing, we definitely have done some bit of work on our chatbot. If you have already experienced, good. If you have not, please do experience. If you have a policy, most welcome. And it is not a question answer boring bot. It is a conversational bot. If you have a feedback, please do send. That's how we improve. We do have OCR, AI around OCR, or AI around certificate of existence, so that one need not to come to our branch and prove that he is alive and his policy should continue. We have done some bit of work which we think is good on humanoid, and I try to play if it plays. We have started working on speech analytics. That's a very initial stage. Again, I have gone somewhere. Okay. Yeah, I'll try.
Good evening. क्या मेरी बात मिस्टर रोहित चौधरी से हो सकती है?
Yeah, this is Rohit.
This is Sarah calling on behalf of Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance. This is an important service call regarding your existing Bajaj Allianz Life Goal Assure policy. Sir, is this a good time to speak with you for a few minutes?
Yeah, tell me.
Thank you, sir. Your policy is in lapse status and premium has not been paid for a long time. Sir, I regret that your experience may not have been up to expectation. As a valuable customer, we have appointed a service manager who would like to meet you in person or over video call for a few minutes to hear your feedback and understand where we could have done better. Please share a convenient date and time when he can meet you.
No, I'm not interested in giving any feedback.
One moment, please. Sir, it is a quick meeting with our service manager. Only 5 or 10 minutes on WhatsApp video call. The meeting is to hear your valuable feedback about your policy experience so that we can improve our services going forward. Please do spare a few minutes of your valuable time and help us, sir. Is it okay if he calls you within the next 2 or 3 days, sir?
No, call me on Monday at 10:30.
Hold on, please. The date and time chosen by you is Monday at 10:30 a.m. Please confirm.
That's right.
Okay, sir. Please help me with your 6-digit PIN code number so that we can assign you a service manager in your area.
It's 40006.
Give me a second. Thank you. Please help me with your full address.
It's Vijay Apartment, Carmichael Road, Tardeo, Mumbai, 40006.
Just a second. Thank you. Our service manager will contact you shortly for the meeting. Have a good day.
And if you have noticed, we are not by no means claiming that it has reached its epitome. It is a process we are going through. But it was not an easy conversation to off-flip to an automated bot. It is the person who is not agreeing. So understanding his intention was extremely important to be able to either repeat or go to the next stage. None of the input was streaming input. Most of this or almost all the input were buffering. So he would say at some speed, then take a hold of some seconds, then say something. His PIN code also 3-digit number first, then some half a second lot, then something. When he said asks for confirmation, he said that's okay. Doesn't mean confirmed, doesn't mean yes, go ahead, that's okay. So all of that is extremely important for all of us. We are trying to go ahead with this practice and build it in many other cases. Today it is providing us a very, very standard, attractive way to secure or to salvage some of those business which might not come back, and we would be able to retain that customer. There are many other work areas where we are going ahead with humanoid and other solutions. I just thought it might be a little interesting for all of us. I know I am now stealing your time, but just last one slide. From a technology point of view, most of us always requested to think about implementing AI solution to secure the bottom line, to secure customer experience. But I think the industry has to move from bottom line to experience. And from there, as we touch, stand out the competition and become a dynamic pricing or some other pricing modeling trigger point, the AI practice in each one of our organization might touch very soon our top line. That's what I have for all of us here. Thanks for giving me 20 minutes.